Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is Genesis. Genesis, a quad reaction coming your way, and we're gonna be featuring the work of, I guess, more live stuff from Genesis and stuff covered when Phil Collins, I believe, took over. So we're gonna start with Squonk, followed by Ripples, followed by Behind the Lines, and then Turn It On Again. Before I pop this off, man, I just want to give a shout out first and a thanks to David Jacobs. David, thank you, man. Thanks very much for contributing to my desire to explore a little bit more of the progressive rock side of things. One of my resolutions going forward in the third year of my channel. So thanks for tuning into that, and thanks for answering that request. So David said, here's a Genesis transition quad. You wanted to get into the transition phase of Genesis, so here it is. I consider Trick of the Tail the beginning of the transition and Duke the end. These are 2 tracks from each album. This is my favorite Genesis time period. This is the perfect blend. I do recommend this order so you can hear the difference in the albums. Sounds good, man. Alright, so let's check this out, man. And I'm not sure, I believe that they might all be live. We'll see. So, starting with Squonk. Yeah, Squonk. Genesis, live at the Lyceum in 1980. Let's get it. I wonder if Genesis knew that their drummer was so charismatic. That's Mike somebody.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. His heart was broken long before he ever came to you. Stop the tears from falling. The trail you leave is very clear, but I wanna see at night. I wanna see it at night. I wanna see you to see me. She run away now. Well, I am afraid I can't like to play with you. Making love is that love is moving well with me. When I kick it into my side. Better watch out, boy. You better watch out.
What's this hunter after? Is he hunting like a fox or a wolf or something? Or is it some apparition talking to himself maybe? Because he's alone.
Walking home that night, the sand across my back, the sound of sobbing on my shoulder. When suddenly it stopped, I opened up the sand that I had, just a pool of bubbles and tears. It's just a pool of tears.
I'm missing a part of the story in the song here.
All in all, you are a very tiny race. Placing trust upon who I were. Should have had things thought you should have had. But you're not giving now. And all the winding perfect time. Tears are falling on the ground. No, don't cry.
Who's the drummer in place of Phil Collins? He's really good. They're all really good, actually. Crowd appreciates it. Nice.
Good evening, London! Evening, chaps. Good to have you aboard. Everybody all right then?
All right. Would have been nice to hear his spiel that came after that. Hello and greeting. Phil Collins. He is quite a personality. I remember some of his antics throughout the years, even seeing just little thumbnails and stuff like that. He's very, very comical. He likes to have fun. Even in the video, way back in the day when I was growing up in the 80s, seeing him with Philip Bailey, the Easy Lover video, check that out just to kind of get an idea of what I mean. He's got a natural comedic element about him. I'm sure that he really, I'm sure he must have been a great bandmate to the rest of Genesis. So, what's become of Phil Collins? I heard that he's having some troubles with his hands now, being a drummer for so long. Is that true? I gotta read up on Phil Collins, where he's at, what he's up to. Alright, man. So, this is post Peter Gabriel Genesis and Squonk. I'm only catching part of the story here with Squonk. I know there's a story being told. There's a message in it. I'm not catching the full effect of it. I gotta read the lyrics and I gotta read the background of the song and the meaning of it. Well, maybe I'll get some out of this read. But from what I'm gathering, Hunter's going into the woods and he is, I think he's hunting a wolf maybe, and the wolf is smart and is maybe able to, I don't know, communicate, or is it a wolf, or is it like just a figment of his imagination or something like that? And maybe he's calling it Squonk, a squonk. Maybe it's an apparition. But in any case, I'm missing a big part of the story, I'm sure. And it's got an expanded message about the liberation of people, and they're opening up their minds into and inviting new ideas to come forth and stuff like that. So the Squonk is also representing, I guess, some people with a certain type of, I don't know, philosophy about life and relationships. I gotta do more. This was just my first listen, so I gotta look into it further. Good song though, great musicianship, man. I like the feel of it, the use of the synth being the centerpiece. It's not heavy guitar driven like a Led Zeppelin platform, but all the same, it's still got the rock feel to it, and it's got that beyond feel to it, you know what I mean? So it's all good. Progressive rock definitely is one of those areas in rock and roll that I have to spend a decent amount of time exploring. The blues rock has had a little bit of its platform with me, even some of the psychedelic rock. And I know that, you interchange and overlap the psychedelic with the progressive. But yeah, I definitely want to focus a little bit more on the progressive side. Get back to my southern rock as well. All right, man. Hey, what we'll do, just to conserve time, is I'm just going to go straight into the song details and not focus so much on the band. We know all about Genesis. Well, maybe not all, but enough. Squonk. Okay. And it's just more album info than song detail. I wish that there was some song information. Okay. Squonk appears on A Trick of the Tail. It's the 7th studio album by English progressive rock band Genesis. It was released February of '76 on Charisma Records and was the first album to feature drummer Phil Collins as lead vocalist following the departure of Peter Gabriel. It was a critical and commercial success in the UK and US, reaching number 3 and number 31 respectively. Wow, very good. Reaching number 3 in the UK. Following Gabriel's decision to leave the band, the remaining members wanted to carry on and show they could still write and record successful material. The group wrote and rehearsed new songs during mid-1975 and listened to numerous audition tapes for a replacement frontman. They entered Trident Studios in October with producer David Henschel to record the album without a definitive idea of who was going to perform lead vocals. After the search for a singer proved unfruitful, Collins was persuaded to sing Squonk, and the performance was so strong he sang lead on the rest of the album. In regards to this, the replacing of Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins taking his place, the way it's written here in Wikipedia, it's as if it was just a nice, easy transition, hey, why don't you do this type of thing. But my understanding was, the story that I have in my mind, I don't know from where, is that they were checking out a bunch of different candidates, and Phil was kind of taking the candidates through the various paces and things of that sort, and then they finally said, yeah, well, Phil, you do it, because we don't have suitable candidates. And so he did it, and then they said, okay, from now on you're going to be our lead singer, and he said, no, I don't want to do that. And they said, no, you are going to do it, and there's no option there. So that's the understanding that I have, that he was voluntold to be the frontman. Let me know if I'm right. Upon release, critics were impressed by the improved sound quality and the group's ability to survive the loss of Gabriel without sacrificing the quality of the music. That's a huge feather in their cap. The talent, the likes of Gabriel leaving and just leaving that void, and then with their own resources being able to fill that's quite an accomplishment, man. The group went out on tour with Collins as frontman and Bill Bruford as an additional drummer. Bill Bruford, okay. and the resulting performances in the US raised Genesis' profile there. The album has been reissued in CD several times, including a deluxe package with bonus tracks in 2007. Alright man, so that is the information given about Squonk and the album that it's on, A Trick of the Tail. Okay, so next up is Ripples, and that's also on A Trick of the Tail. So I think what we'll do here is, we'll save the reception, the critical reception, and I'll read that part rather than reread the whole album information detail for Ripples. Won't make sense. So let's do that, man. So first, let's check out Ripples. And okay, I think this is a studio cut. Ripples. Let's get it.
Blue girls come in every size. Some are wise and some otherwise. They got pretty blue eyes. For now a man may change. For now her face looks strange. Looks strange. Looks strange. Marching to the promised land, where the honey flows and takes you by the hand, pulls you down on your knees, while you're down a pool appears. The face in the water looks up, and she shakes her head as if to say that it's the last time you'll look like today. Sail away, away. Ripples never come back. Gone to the other side. Sail away, away. The face that launched 1,000 ships is sinking fast. That happens, you know. The water gets below. Seems not very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. Angels never know it's time to close the book and gracefully decline. The song has found a tale. My, what a jealous fool is she. The face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say that the blue girls have all gone away. Sail away, away. Rivers never come back. They've gone to the other side. Look into the pool.
song is the theme of it all is about loss, maybe being grateful, being thankful for what you have, cherishing your youth, cherishing your the wealth of your life. I think. Ripples never come back. See how they put the instrumentals in there so you can think about it? I'm thinking of all kinds of crazy shit.
Sail away, away. Ripples never come back. Come to the other side. Look into the
Ripples never come back. Yeah, that's definitely an indication and an encouragement to cherish what you've got. You only get one shot. All right. Hey. You're talking about a song that really makes you go within and do some soul searching. That would be the song right there. Damn, Ripples. Really good song, holy. I love the instrumental in the middle of the song, man. Just stretches it out and gives you a chance to just think about things. And your mind is conjuring up all kinds of different images and stuff as to what this song could mean. Very, very interesting. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons that I really like the progressive rock. You know, it's a really, really cool mental exercise. What the hell is that term Sherlock Holmes uses when he wants to go into the mind of the criminal and he sits still in his mind palace. That's what it's called. He goes into his mind palace. And I guess in his mind palace, he is rationalizing, and he rationalizes the ideal of the criminal as to why the criminal might want to be motivated to do this based on the feelings, based on the criminal's background, based on all of these different facts. And I don't know, an hour or sometime later, Sherlock emerges with this track plan of what the criminal has probably laid out. And so most of the time, his theories are right about what this criminal does. So his mind palace is a place that he goes into where he creates the scenario of the crime, and then of course in that way he's able to solve it. So this song is a great way to take you into your personal mind palace, I guess. And you can think of all kinds of different things. That's what it did for me anyway, man. All right. So, ripples. All right. Yeah, it also appears, my damn throat, sorry, on A Trick of a Tale. I'm gonna go get a drink, hang on. Okay, I'm hydrated. Ripples also appears on A Trick of the Tail. And yeah, let's read the reception of the album, A Trick of the Tail. Reception. And here's a quote. "It was very satisfying for us to show that we could carry on. It was great not to have to involve another person too." Unquote. And that's Tony Banks discussing the positive critical reception of the album, and obviously of the first album without Peter Gabriel. A Trick of the Tail had a positive reception from music critics, who were impressed that the group could not only survive the loss of Gabriel, but still deliver a good album. The sound quality had improved from previous albums as a result of Henschel's production skills. The album reached number 3 in the UK, remaining on the charts for 39 weeks, and number 31 in the US. It was certified gold in the UK by the British phonographic industry in June, and in the US by the RIAA in March of 1990. The album remained in the UK charts for 39 weeks and recouped a significant amount of the $400,000 worth of debt they had accumulated by the time Gabriel left. Yeah, so here's a question, man. With Gabriel leaving, first off, again, remind me, why did Peter Gabriel leave? Was it due to the fact that they were approaching the 80s, and maybe some of the band members were saying, yeah, you know, with the 80s approaching, we feel a shift coming towards a different kind of maybe pop-oriented market with these this new younger generation of the 80s being upon us? We're going to have to kind of change up our sound. And there was some disagreements about that. And were there other reasons why? So did that have to do with Peter's departure? One. And were there other reasons why? And what were they? Let me know about that, man. I'm sure a lot of you guys know your Genesis stuff. For the first time in their career, Genesis filmed promotional videos for their songs. The first to be filmed was the title track, which features the band playing to the song together around the piano, including a composite shots of a miniature Collins hopping around on the piano and guitar. The group also produced promotional films of Ripples and Robbery, Assault, and Battery. Alright, man. So that is the reception of Ripples. Very well received, despite the fact that they didn't have Peter Gabriel in the lineup. Alright, man, so let's hit up our third track, that being Behind the Lines. Alright, Genesis, And this is not live. I believe this is a studio cut. Behind the Lines. Let's get it. Nice long intro. This is obviously a failed relationship. Okay. So that is Behind the Lines. I guess it's detailing and outlining, I guess, an element that caused a disconnect in the relationship, and they can no longer relate to each other. They can't build a bridge. What did he say? It's too late to change now. Yeah, I think it's just a song about the unfortunate change in relationships, or difference in people, and you just can't make it work sometimes. Two good people, but sometimes you just can't make a relationship work, you know? That's just how shit rolls sometimes. Good song, man. Good song. Heavy synth in it. And yeah, a synth-centered band, you know. I always, in my mind's eye, thought the first thing I think about a heavy synth-centered band is a question as to how long are these guys for the world of rock and fandom and things of that sort. How long will they be relevant, popular, until the novelty wears off, until there's an interest elsewhere, things of that sort. But Genesis has really stood the test of time, you know, from their early beginnings going into the 80s, navigating into the 80s, and then beyond. You know, I know they branched off to Mike and the Mechanics, and then Phil Collins, of course, had his great solo stuff. And I don't know what's happening around from 2000 on between Phil Collins and Genesis, but they've had some great longevity, you know what I'm saying? So they're the exception to the rule. But then again, perhaps maybe my idea of synth-centered bands not having longevity is very, very ignorant. So we'll see about that as I go into more of the progressive. And here I am assuming that a lot of the progressive stuff that I'll be hearing probably is very, very heavily synth-oriented and synth-centered. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. All right, man. So let us do a little background on Behind the Lines. Behind the Lines. Behind the Lines is a song by English progressive rock band Genesis from their 1980 album Duke. The group's drummer and vocalist Phil Collins released a re-recorded version on his first solo album Face Value in February of '81. Different versions. The Genesis version of the track is a dramatic art rock piece, while the Collins version is lighter and played in a funk style. Lyrically, the song is about pleading to a former lover, a subject that fitted smoothly into Collins' post-divorce solo album. There were a few minor changes to the words, however. Collins revealed on the Classic album's documentary on Face Value that his solo remake came about after recording Behind the Lines. Let me try that again. Collins revealed on the Classic album's documentary on Face Value that his solo remake came about after, quote, recording Behind the Lines, we ran the tape back at double speed and suddenly this other song appeared, unquote. Collins then set out to re-record the song on Face Value as a Michael Jackson off-the-wall era disco track featuring the Earth, Wind and Fire horn section, the Phoenix Horns. I believe Easy Lover is on this album. An edited version appeared as the B-side to Turn It On Again, the lead single from Duke. This version is billed as Behind the Lines Part 2, as it's edited out the long instrumental intro to the song and is in essence the second half of the original recording. I believe Duke also features You Can't Hurry Love, Supreme's remake. I love that. I really dig the video. You should check out the video. He splits himself into 3 parts like the Supremes and he's dancing and stuff. It's really good. Tours. Behind the Lines was performed on the accompanying tour in 1980 and was also played as the show opener during the Abacab tour in '81. The song was also played in full in a medley between Dance on a Volcano and Follow You, Follow Me on the 1982 Encore Tour, and a shorter version was included in an old medley, 11th Earl of Mar, Behind the Lines, Firth of Fifth, The Musical Box during January 1984 for the Mama Tour. The song was rehearsed and considered as the show opener for the We Can't Dance 1992 tour. The instrumental intro was used as an opener of the 2007 Turn It On Again tour. Tony Banks wanted to perform the full version, but Mike Rutherford, that's his last name, and Phil Collins disagreed with him. Collins performed his solo version on his Hello, I Must Be Going 83, No Jacket Required 85, but Seriously 90 and Both Sides 94 and 95 tours. So here's another question. With Genesis going full tilt, and Phil Collins now, he has a sidelining career going as well, a sidelining solo career. Was there any kind of turbulence because of that? Were they saying, well, oh yeah, we're not good enough for you, so you're going to go off and do your own? Or did he get their full support, because he was capable of balancing both balls? Let me know about that. I don't know a lot of the details of Genesis and their relationship, but I know some bands would have an issue with one of their band members going off and doing their solo thing while they're still a member of the band currently. And I can understand why, because sometimes they might be seeing it as a hindrance maybe to a touring schedule, concert dates, or things of that sort where scheduling is concerned. But I also know too that maybe it's an indication that maybe there's dissension, and it's the first indicator that the band is starting to unravel, But there's a lot of different things about that. But answer that for me. Fill in those blanks if you can. All right, man. Let's hit up our final track, and that being Turn It On Again. All right. Turn It On Again. Now, I believe it's live. It says 3 sides live. Genesis, Turn It On Again. Let's get it. And he's everywhere. Hits up the drums afterwards. Double drums, nice. Dual drums. They'd be excellent to see in concert, absolutely. Helmed both by Peter Gabriel and Phil Collins. And I wonder now if that's ever taken place. Did Peter Gabriel ever come back and kind of join Phil Collins and the rest of Genesis, and namely joining Phil Collins on stage as kind of like a shared frontman? You know, I wonder if that was ever the case. Turn It On Again is a single by English rock band Genesis from their 1980 album Duke. It reached number 8 in the UK singles chart, becoming the band's second top 10 hit. The lyrics by Mike Rutherford concern a man who does nothing more than watch TV. He becomes obsessed with the people he watches on it, believing them to be his friends. Background. Turn It On Again was built from leftovers from projects by each member. The second set of verses was conceived by Tony Banks for a curious feeling. Quote, "We kind of put Rutherford's riff, the bit he didn't use, on Small Creep's Day, curiously enough, with the bit I didn't use on A Curious Feeling, and put these two together. We made it much more rocky. Both bits became much more rocky. My bit was a bit more epic, and Mike's bit was a bit slower, and a bit more heavy metal. And then Phil gave it a much more straightforward drum part. Perhaps neither of us would have thought that we would want that on..." That doesn't make any sense. Perhaps neither of us would have thought that we would want that on that bit. Okay. We put on one or two other bits too. That ended up from there. How many times did I say bit in that paragraph? So yeah, so that is Tony Banks. The song is characterized by a rhythmic structure uncharacteristically complex for pop music, but common in the band's progressive rock back catalog. The verse-chorus sections alternate time signatures. Okay, and then it just goes into all of the time signatures. Let's skip over that. Collins confirms, quote, "You can't dance to it. You see people trying to dance to it every now and again. They get on the offbeat, but they don't know why." Tony Banks adds, quote, "You can't dance or clap along to it because of that time signature. When we play it live, you can always see the audience getting caught out," unquote. Turn It On Again has been a favorite at Genesis shows. Consequently, the group's 1999 compilation Turn It On Again, the hits, and its 2007 expanded reissue subtitled The Tour Edition were named after it, as was the band's 2007 Turn It On Again, the Tour Reunion Tour. That's the title? Okay. In the 1980s, the band would attach a medley of 1960s pop songs, referred to by the band as the Blues Brothers Medley, as the first song was Everybody Needs Somebody to Love. The song would be returned to its album form for the We Can't Dance tour, and the band would later record the medley as a poor decision. Or regard the medley as a poor decision, sorry. Peter Gabriel played drums when he reunited with his former bandmates. Oh. See? I'm answering my question. Peter Gabriel played drums when he reunited with his former bandmates in '82's Sixth of the Best show, and found himself baffled by the time signatures. Quote, "It was typical Peter. Oh, I can play this," observed Tony Banks. But once he started playing, he kept looking around going, "Oh fuck, Turn It On Again does funny things. It's truly a Genesis song," unquote. That's Tony Banks. Hey man, look at that. I didn't even know that Peter was a drummer. How many instruments does Peter play? Does he master a number of instruments? Let me know. I know that Phil Collins masters piano and drums. I don't know what else he might master. Chart performance. Turn It On Again was a hit in North America. However, it was a bigger hit in Europe, particularly in the UK, where it reached number 8. All right, so that concludes. Sorry for the choppy reading on Turn It On Again. But I think that what they do is they quote the exact way that these guys talk, and sometimes without actually being there in front of them, it's sometimes not very coherent. So that concludes the quad of Genesis, post Peter Gabriel. Still got their progressive touch, heavier synth going into it, and seems like they're making that transition now. They're ready for that transition, rather, going forward into the 80s, and that would be their sound going forward. And it did. They did very, very well. That is the Genesis that I grew up listening to and hearing and seeing on MTV. So, yeah, man, they did. They were one of those bands that transitioned very successfully from the 70s into the 80s, so props to that. And maybe timing was right, maybe timing was appropriate, having Peter leave and then having Phil take over and going through with that direction, because I believe that they achieved their biggest amount of commercial success at the helm of Phil Collins, not Peter Gabriel. But I know that the times had changed, and also their sound had changed somewhat, and it was more suitable and palpable for younger generations of fans, namely a lot of teens and the MTV generation, so to speak. So it's not a knock against Peter Gabriel, it's just a changing of the times, All right, so that is my reaction and review. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed the hell out of it, man. Look forward to doing a lot more progressive rock down the road. So you guys take care of yourselves. And another shout out and thanks very much to David. Thank you very much, David Jacobs. And I'll definitely consider doing a little bit more Genesis down the road. Whether it's Peter, whether it's Phil at the helm, it doesn't matter to me, man. Genesis is great all around. Anyway, you guys have yourselves a good one. Peace.